Hey, everybody. My name is Craig Knitt. I am a seldom frequenter of the Milwaukee International Short Film Festival. I love the festival, and I have got a film in there this year. It is called Daniel Needs to Leave. It's a film about just, and I think everybody has experienced this before, where it's time for you to leave the party, but nobody wants to let you go. And you have to try and still maintain some politeness, but you still need to leave, and it kind of shifts from normal circumstances to just a little bit into the horror realm and then back out as it wraps itself up. And it was shot over the course of a night.
I found the film intriguing because it is humorous, and then it goes into like a psychological horror thing where his mind is just kind of like weighing on him. And
Yep.
there's even an Elvis person in the film.
Yeah, we happily have one of the people in our film friend group that is kind of a Elvis impersonator, Aaron Smith, who goes by the autistic Elvis. He is kind of known in circles a little bit, and we got a chance to have him in the film. And ironically, he grew up right next to Tom's house where we shot the film. So it was just kind of a nice, well-rounded film in that regard. But the nice thing, Ross, and the thing that I wanted to do intentionally with this film is everything that I shot it on an iPhone. In fact, the iPhone that I'm using right now for this interview, and I didn't do anything fancy with it other than put it into a stabilizer. And I didn't even enhance the audio, which I wish in retrospect, that's the one part I wish I would have worked on a little bit more. But ultimately, it was all shot on an iPhone so that, and I'm sure that you hear this too, running film festivals, that people are always coming up to me and going, I would love to shoot a movie, but I just don't have the equipment to do it. And that's kind of becomes a shallow excuse when you start seeing the results that you can get by using a cell phone. And that I'm happy with what it did. It was not perfect. So it was a learning process for me too. There's a lot of lighting artifacts that happen in there that I didn't like. There's a couple of cameo experiences by the cameraman that were unintentional just because they're reflections on the glass in the room. um, and our audio was a little windy when it was outside, even on a non-windy day, which surprises me. But I really wanted to float the camera through this whole party aspect and give the viewers a feeling of this constant movement, and that part I think I really got done well. And I'll tell you what, I don't think that could have been shot in the course of a night if I wouldn't have done some of those things. If we were going to try to set up all of those shots, it would have taken forever. Whereas this, having the camera float through there, it's almost a 10-minute film, I think. It it would have taken forever to do that in individual shots.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a fun challenge for me to do, not only to see if I could direct something that had about 20 people in it darn near, um, and to get it done within this tight time frame that we had, and make it work. And it's like I said, it's not perfect, but I'm pretty darn happy with the results.
It's marvelous. With with it being shot in a night, tell us how long it took in that night. How many hours were you up
um
all night doing this, or?
n- Ross, I had from 5 o'clock until 10. So, and we weren't, I mean, I would say until 9, because I had 4 hours to get it shot. And the one shot that takes place in the bathroom, we could kind of shoot that early, and you wouldn't necessarily see any time change. But the very first scene that we shot, it was daytime. And by the time we got to the next shot, because we ran that, we'd run through with a practice shot, we'd run through and shoot the scene probably about 3 times, so that our timing it would get stronger every single time. People knew where they were going to be and what they were going to say. Even though it was a very organic and improvised to a degree, everybody knew where they were going with their characters, so that was pretty neat. But by the time we got to the second scene, which is supposed to take place seconds later, um, it was getting dark already, so we had to do a lot of color correction in the end process to get it to look like it was the same time of day.
All right,
Sorry if
so
my cat's being
that's
distractive
all
there,
right.
Rob.
So you shot it in about 4 hours, and how long was the edit?
Um, honestly, this was probably one of the whoops. Honestly, Ross, this was probably one of the quicker shoots that I've ever done as far as editing um and shooting from concept to completion because all the scenes were so long. It was really a series of, 4 or 5 different long shots cut together that makes that editing so much easier because you just find the shots that are working. Um, but then it got to the point where I wanted to add some audio to it or figure out the soundtrack for it. And that kind of got to be tricky too because I've got so many people that wanted to help out and I wanted to help out with it too. And we were all trying to write a song and everybody was trying to, get their 2 cents in on it. And it wasn't clicking very well. So it's like everybody wanted to do it independently. And I wanted it to be, believe it or not, I wanted it to be more organic with different involvement. So I went honestly, and I'm a little embarrassed to say this, Ross, but I went to Suno, which is an AI generating program for audio, and threw in some ideas, and I started getting some results that had the feel that I wanted. So I went in and really tweaked it and worked on it to try to get it to have that essence that um, I wanted a playful song track, something that was driving, and it took it took probably a couple of days to figure out some of those things. And all in all, when it was done, I would say that the editing process probably took 2 weeks, but it shouldn't have. It should have been able to be finished much sooner than that.
Would this be something you would like to try again and expand upon and play with more?
Honestly, Ross, I love the idea of doing some more improvised movies. When I got a chance to, like last year's movie, The Inheritance, one of the stars in that movie was an experimental filmmaker named John Jost. Are you familiar with him at all?
No, I'm not. Sorry.
He was one of the very first winners of the Sundance Film Festival, way back in the day before it was even called the Sundance Film Festival. And he was an experimental filmmaker who has done buckets and buckets of work and is really respected amongst that group of filmmakers, and a lot of his films are improvised and built along the way. It's a fascinating process and I can't say that I'm 100% behind it, but what you end up getting is very organic. I like to construct stories in a very wise and smart way. I don't like them accidentally happening, but that would be a fun experiment, if that makes sense. I would I wouldn't want to invest in a big project and do it that way because there's just too many factors on what's going to make it work and what's not going to make it work.
Hmm.
But certainly doing something on a smaller scale would be a lot of fun.
What do you plan to do with the film now that you finished it? I know it's premiering at our film festival. Have you given a look
Well,
outside
that's
of Wisconsin?
absolutely. It's really tricky to get into a lot of film festivals. It's in this climate it feels. I've sent like last year's film, which I really liked, and I thought it was pretty solid. I sent it out to a lot of film festivals, and I'd say that out of for every 10 film festivals I sent it to, I maybe got accepted by one. And that was really a surprise to me. But it's better to have realistic expectations. And so now I know that if I'm going to send this new one out, I'm going to be a little bit more hesitant to send it everywhere. I do want to send it. One of my dreams, Ross, is to get into the Sundance Film Festival. I would love to be able to get a film in there someday, just because I've been there, I've worked that festival, and it's just so reputed among all of us film fest directors. Um, but even that's not the answer to making it in this world. You still gotta continue to put out high quality stuff and continue to work on things. Um, Kind of forgot my train of thought, but I wanted to get in too that it's like right now I'm really working on some feature length scripts when I have the time. I've got a fairy tale that is about 94 pages in, and it's doggone glorious. I don't know necessarily what I'm going to be able to do with it, but it might be a film or a script that I send into the Sundance Institute and see if they'd take on an old dude and see what we could do to make that into a realistic film. And I've got two other big budget pieces like that most of the films I've done, Ross, I can afford to just do it, pay for everything on my out of my pocket, and I get the results that I want. Some of these things that are a little bit bigger, I've never tried to arrange a budget for a film, and I think I'm due. I think that's my next step.
Well, good luck with that. I hope it happens.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for doing this today, Craig.
Oh, thanks for having me, Ross. I love what you're doing with the International Short Film Festival, and you've always been doing a wonderful job. How many years, Ross? How many
This
years?
is 27.
You guys make me mad because Wildwood kind of reached its fruition, I guess, at year 19, although it's not dead, but it's on life support. So who knows? We'll see if we can ever catch up again.
Yeah, my festival started in 1994, so it's actually 31 years.
Holy moly. That's impressive, buddy. That's very impressive.